I'm Coach Clark, Derby High School. That's who I am.
What is your first name?
Brandon.
And then who else do we have there on the Derby end? For fun.
My name's Owen Berg. I'm the sports editor for the yearbook here.
Former Derby High Panther football player.
Former football player.
I'm Brendan. I'm a photographer for the yearbook. I'm Kenny Taylor, and I'm a sports editor for the news magazine.
How about y'all?
I'm Coach Appleby. Joel is my first name.
Thank you.
I'm Tori, and I am one of the editors-in-chief of the newspaper, former sports editor. So,
And I'm Carissa. I'm one of the other editor-in-chiefs.
and I'm Miss Scavenger. I'm the advisor and friend of Miss Baker. So, what is your background as coaches? How are you related?
Like how you asking me?
Yes, either. Yeah.
Well, first off, we're cousins. We're first cousins. Brandon's mom and my dad are brother and sister. And then, so we kind of grew up together. When we were very young, we always talked about coaching together. And when Derby came open, Brandon got the job, and there happened to be a PE job opening. And I was just graduating from graduate school, actually, and took the job at Derby and coached together for 4 years. And then I came here.
Okay, so when did you start coaching at Derby?
It would have been in, what, 2008? Is that right, Brandon?
I think 10 years ago, so a little bit earlier, probably 2003 or 4. 4?
I was in Ross in 2004, 2005, I think. Maybe it's 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got here in 2010 was my first season. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have anything to add? Otherwise, you guys can ask a question if you want.
No, I mean, I started my coaching career against Coach Appleby when I was really young in backyard football and pretty much dominated that on Thanksgiving. But other than that, he got it all.
But I am much better looking and better athlete.
Will you on that?
And he's a dork. Yes.
All right. Is there, obviously 3 hours is a little bit of a drive for a high school football game, in my opinion, but is there a certain reason? Did you just like the matchup? You guys are both top. He's top of 5A and we're number 2 or 3 in 6A. Or is it just, for bragging rights, just for fun, or kind of the reason behind the game?
Yeah, I think it's fun.
Well, if anybody, obviously you guys haven't seen the mass chaos when the numbers come out and you have to find schedules. And you get your schedule in 5A and 6A, and then everybody writes their name on what week they had open. And just by coincidence or fate or whatever you want to call it, on whatever week we are, week 3, there's only 2 names out there that were 5A, 6A, and it was Derby and Mill Valley. So Coach Appleby and I kind of looked at each other and just kind of shook our heads, and we knew we were probably going to have to play each other, which is what we always wanted to kind of do. But when it happened, it was kind of shocking, but it was kind of cool at the same time.
So it wasn't planned or anything, it just ended up happening, and you guys?
It did. I think it would have happened sooner or later, but it happened sooner than later.
So with it being 3 hours away, do you think the distance that each team has to travel affects the players?
I don't know. Sorry. I mean, Coach Appleby did it last year, and they were, I think they had maybe 8 or 9 starters out that game, so it really wasn't a true comparison of our teams. But we haven't traveled 3 hours for a long time. We're going to have some fun doing it. We're going to eat some dinner and hopefully have a little team bonding. So it'll be unusual, but for a week 3 contest that really has no impact on district play or anything like that this year, it really doesn't bother us too much. We're definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would say last year, we just really didn't talk about the distance more than anything. We just talked about what we needed to do. The biggest thing was like Coach Clark said, we broke it up to, we stopped in El Dorado at Butler County Community College, had a little walk through, had some dinner, and they got back on the road to go to Derby. And part of the good thing about us going to Derby was that we've been to Derby several times throughout the summer. So our kids knew exactly what to expect. They knew where they were walking into. Obviously, they got to see what it's really like on game night at Derby, which is an unbelievable atmosphere. But other than that, they knew exactly what to kind of expect because they've made that trip several times.
Next up here, does the atmosphere change a little bit with, having a cousin on the other sideline? Does it kind of change obviously like the atmosphere of the game of how you feel about playing against a relative and somebody that you coached with? Does that affect the game in any way?
I think our families probably enjoy it a lot more than we do because they've been talking nonstop. So, but other than that, I think Coach Park and I talk almost daily. So.
If he ever answers his phone, yes, we would.
But no. So I mean, when the game starts, it really isn't much difference. But I guess leading up to, just because we're gonna have a lot of family again, like we did last year at the game. They're all excited to be here and see us play against each other. But other than that, really, and like I told a reporter here recently on the phone, it's a lot of fun to talk about, but really it's the kids that the game's all about. We're going to do our best to put them in a position to be successful. Both of us are. So that's really ultimately what we're all about is allowing the kids to have fun.
Yeah, for sure. And pretty much echo everything he said. This is a huge game. Coach Appleby and Mill Valley, they did a great job week 1 against the number 1 team in 5A, and now they're the number 1 team in 5A, and both are undefeated, which is good. I think a lot of people outside of our programs had both of us pegged with a loss or two before we got to this game. So being 2-0 for both of us is pretty special. But this is a great game to gauge just where our team is because we know they're very good. I think we're a better team, just by watching film last year. I think Coach Appleby would agree with me. We both were not as good as both of us are this year. So it'll be a fun game. Personally, last year it was weird playing them. I really didn't know what to expect. I know this is one of the only times I really want Coach Appleby's team to lose is when we play him. Other than that, you got the biggest Mill Valley fan, wearing green over here. So that's the number 2 team that we cheer for. But going into that game, it was weird. I thought I would have a lot of emotion, but it was almost a game where I didn't have as much emotion as I usually did because I know Coach Appleby's a good coach, and I know his staff, not just him, but his whole staff, and I know he knows our whole staff. We hang out a lot. We go to Tulsa together. We do both our 7-on-7 tournaments together. Our junior football programs meet up every preseason to play each other. They either travel here, we travel there. So we got a brother school over there in Mill Valley. So playing that game, you want to win, but if you don't, your team played well. You're happy for your cousin to win the game too.
Okay, this is more for you, Coach Appleby. But how is the homecoming game different from other games, and like with the different crowd, or not different, but maybe bigger? Are there more distractions, or is it pretty much the same?
I think every week these days, with the social media and everything, there's a lot of distractions. Homecoming definitely adds to that. But we talk daily about how what we need to do is focus on us and focus on what we need to do to be successful on the Friday night. And we try as best we can, to put the distractions, to the back burner. But again, the kids have so many distractions out there in today's world, so it's kind of just a little bit added to it, I would say. But we try to focus on what we need to do.
All right. Obviously, you guys are cousins growing up, and I know there's some instances where cousins aren't that close, and sometimes they're more like that they're brothers and sisters than they are actually cousins. Were you guys super close growing up, or how would you describe your relationship growing up?
Here we go.
I don't care. I'll go. Well, we lived a couple hours apart. You know, he grew up in Russell, I grew up in Valley Center, so we met as much. Our families were really close. He has an older brother, I have a younger brother, and we played a lot of backyard games against each other, but I would definitely classify us as brothers. Coach Appleby and I, we were roommates all throughout college. We lived together. We ended up finishing up where it was just him and I basically in a house. So, I mean, definitely brothers in that sense. And when I was leaving for Derby, we both kind of had a pact. First guy to get I mean, he was the head baseball coach at Junction City already, defensive coordinator, and I was just starting out at Derby. But Derby was kind of on a downhill slide when I got there, and I was able to somehow get the job a couple years later. So I was able to get the head coaching job first, and we kept with our pack on whoever got the first head coaching job. If there was some available, we'd bring the other guy with us, and that's kind of how it worked out. And you know, 4 or 5 years here, and now he's at Mill Valley, and now they have a #1 team in 5A, which is pretty dang awesome.